I found out my girlfriend and best friend betrayed me, so I set them up. We thought you'd never know," she laughed. I smiled, then played my final card. This morning. We've been married for 2 years and dated for 5. We're both 34, I'm a woman, and he's a man, in case that matters. I'm not a picky eater, in fact, I'm quite adventurous. Whenever I travel, I make it a point to try dishes with unusual or uncommon ingredients just for the experience. There are very few foods I won't eat, but one of them is mustard. I simply don't like it. The taste is overpowering and unpleasant to me. I've given it multiple chances: yellow, stone ground, honey, artisan, brown, spicy, you name it, I've tried it. But no matter the type, I just don't enjoy it. For some reason, my husband never seems to accept this. He absolutely loves mustard, especially honey mustard, and uses it on everything: sandwiches, fries, you name it. And yet, he constantly tries to convince me to eat it. He insists that I'll like it if I just give it another try. But I'm a grown woman, I know what I do and don't like, and mustard is a firm no for me. Whenever I refuse, it turns into a small argument, with him calling me picky. Last night, while driving home from a weekend trip, we stopped at a gas station for a quick bite. He got a hot dog covered in mustard, while I opted for a plain one. I don't particularly love hot dogs, but I'll eat them. While we waited in line, he asked what I got on mine. I told him nothing. He actually got furious and grabbed it from me. He marched over to the condiment station and began putting mustard on my hot dog, telling me to grow up and stop being picky. I just walked out and sat in the car. I didn't even want the damn hot dog anymore. My appetite was gone. He came back and began screaming at me for embarrassing him even further. The word divorce was said for the first time ever. I secretly recorded his screaming because I was genuinely afraid I would die. He was driving erratically, swerving and speeding. I'm in a hotel tonight. He ignored me all day at work, and then the calls started around when he realized I wasn't coming home. Non-stop voicemails and texts. He sent me a screenshot of a Google search for local divorce lawyers. I haven't eaten all day and I've been sobbing in this damn hotel room. I don't want to get divorced and I wish I had just ate the fucking mustard. Someone, anyone, please give me an explanation. Am I in danger? Why would he react this way to a preference of mine? I'm completely broken right now. Update. Here are some responses to questions I noticed. Regarding saying no to sex, he respected it when I refused to have sex, but he would repeatedly ask for oral. At first, I would give in, but over time, I started dreading it. He even bought different things, hoping to make it more enjoyable or easier for me. I used to like giving oral, but not with him. Despite that, he keeps asking again and again. Eventually, I started responding with, I said no. Are you going to force me? That would make him uncomfortable and offended, as if I were accusing him of assault. As for a support system, no, I don't really have one. I've always kept a small circle, and over time, I lost touch with my casual college friends. The friends I do have are his, not mine. It makes me feel like a bit of a loser, but I don't have close friends of my own. My parents have both passed. My dad died when I was a teenager, and my mom passed recently from heart failure. I don't have any siblings. I'm financially capable of living on my own and I could pay for a divorce. I just really didn't want things to be this way. The mustard thing was always just an annoyance to me. I didn't consider it a deal breaker, but obviously it is for him. We have no kids and no equity. Our finances are separate save for one joint account we equally contribute to for bills. We were looking at buying a house. I'm safe. I'm at work and staying at a hotel for the time being. He's still texting me. One message said he loves me and doesn't want to lose me, but that I've left him no choice by refusing to communicate or come home. I haven't responded. I don't even know what to say. I forced myself to eat my favorite takeout late last night, but it tasted like nothing. I stayed up late making a list of every concerning thing he's done. I guess the mustard situation was just the surface of something much deeper. Relevant comment. Just to add, I really do love him, and for years, he's been my best friend. I genuinely plan to spend my life with him. I'm not afraid of being alone, but I don't want to feel lonely. I just wish my mom were here. Update. Sincerely, thank you all for your kind words as well as sending me links to resources. He has reverted back and has told me that he never wants to see me again, so I suppose that gives me time to read that book that someone on RA suggested to me. I forget the name. I will admit, while I was at work and thinking of the lonely room waiting me after 5, I considered just going home. But I knew what awaited me. I'm too drained to muster up the kind of apology he would be expecting in order for things to go back to normal. I honestly fear that our normal is detrimental to me. I also don't want to apologize. I don't think I did anything wrong, and you all helped validate that. I always felt like I was the one disturbing the peace. He'd get so upset over things that were little to no effort for me to just do or go along with because I loved him. And somewhere along the way I think I lost myself. I never liked mustard. I never liked golf, or camping, or red wine. But he loves all of these and wanted me to love them too. He said he was introducing me to his hobbies so we would have shared interests as a couple. But I have realized that out of all the things I used to like, he has either refused to try or ignored my interest. Our shared interests are just his. God, how do I feel like my own person again? My world broke not 2 days ago and now I'm drunk at a hotel bar switching between Reddit and researching divorce lawyers. I still don't want to divorce. It's so permanent. I never pictured myself a divorcee. I used to think that every choice I made deliberately. It used to be a point of pride for me. But he's making this choice for me. And it hurts. Update. First of all, I took this week off at my employer's encouragement. I plan to use the time to find a therapist who specializes in domestic abuse and sexual assault, something I've come to accept that I am a victim of. I feel completely numb. I'm also starting to look for a divorce lawyer. Secondly, he found the hotel I was staying at. He must have followed me from work. He was waiting in the lobby. The moment I saw him, my heart skipped a beat, but not out of longing. I realized instantly that I did not miss him at all. I was afraid of making a scene, something I need to unlearn, so I sat with him in the lounge and talked. Here's a summary of how that went. I pointed to the security camera and told him that if he tried to hurt me, there would be footage, and I wouldn't hesitate to press charges. He looked completely shocked and insisted he would never hurt me. I reminded him how terrified I felt in the car that night. He ignored it. Instead, he asked why I wasn't coming home. With a blank expression, I told him, because you're divorcing me. He immediately backtracked, saying he didn't mean it and was just upset. I responded, when normal people are upset, they express it in a healthy way. You threatened the end of our marriage. I'm taking you seriously. He got pissed and asked if I was saying he wasn't normal. Honestly, I just wanted the conversation to be done, so I told him if that's really all he heard then there was no point in talking anymore. I told him I was looking for a lawyer and he should probably do the same if he hasn't found one. He lashed out and said, all this over one mistake? And I just stared at him. As I made to stand up, he grabbed my wrist hard and I pointed at the camera again. This just made him angrier. He never could handle slights to his ego. One mistake. It wasn't one mistake. It was a pattern of abuse over years. It was threatening me, intimidating me. I told him if he tried to contact me again beyond sending me his lawyer's details I'd be calling the police. He let me go. I wish I could say I felt strong and celebrated in my room after that. Instead, I collapsed onto my bed and sobbed. I was overwhelmed, sick, angry, and heartbroken. The truth hit me hard, he really doesn't care about me. I've been crying on and off while calling local therapists, but finding one has been frustratingly difficult. So many advertise their services only to turn out not accepting new patients. It's exhausting. I've also started looking into support groups for victims of domestic abuse. In less than a month, my entire life has changed. And he feels no remorse. To him, this is all my fault. Relevant comment. I'll probably move. I saw my Reddit post get reposted on Twitter, and now I'm terrified he'll see it and come after me. A lot of people in the comments were saying he might try to kill me, and honestly, I believe them. Update. I have a divorce lawyer, but that's all I'm comfortable sharing for now. I'll also mention that I've relocated. I'm safe and secure. My job has allowed me to work fully remote, and my soon-to-be ex has no way of knowing where I am. There are no trackers on my phone, and I'm in contact with people and organizations that are helping me. Earlier this week, the calls and texts escalated. I was advised to keep him unblocked but muted so his messages would still come through. Curiosity got the best of me, so I read a few. He wanted me at Thanksgiving dinner with his family and begged me to stop acting this way, asking what he was supposed to tell them. Well, Thursday came and went. I spent it alone with a couple of ready-made meals I'd picked up the night before. I want to take a moment to talk about my mom. Since it was always just the three of us for holidays, unless friends joined, she never made a turkey. Instead, she'd buy a rotisserie chicken and dress it up with stuffing. She always focused on making dishes we actually loved rather than traditional Thanksgiving food. My all-time favorite side was French fries, while my dad loved grilled asparagus with cheese. So our holiday meal was simple: rotisserie chicken, French fries, asparagus, and garlic toast, my mom's favorite. The first time I ever had a traditional Thanksgiving dinner at a friend's house, I apparently blurted out to my mom that I didn't like it and asked, "Where are the fries?" Haha. So this year, instead of my STB ex-husband's family's Thanksgiving food, I bought asparagus, fries, garlic toast, and a couple of slices of rotisserie chicken. It wasn't half as good as my mother's meal. But when I say I cried eating it, it felt like they were with me that night. I guess my absence at the dinner forced my STBEX to tell his family that I was separated from him. So Friday morning I got a phone call from an unfamiliar number. I answered it, thinking maybe it was my lawyer's home phone or another person I was in contact with. It was my mother-in-law. She begged me not to hang up on her. So I stayed on the line. She went on about how I was her daughter, she loved me, her son loved me, and how could I leave him over something so minor. He only told his mom about the mustard, and even then it was a watered-down version that made me look like a neurotic control freak who needed everything my way. According to my MIL, he just made a side cup of it for me and asked me to just try it in the car. And I started screaming I'd divorce him. She then started probing about which lawyer I was seeing and what I had told them. She also reminded me that lying in court was a crime. My lawyer had warned me to not reveal anything we had discussed to his family. It took all my willpower not to say anything. Instead, I hung up and muted her number, too. She hasn't texted or tried to call again. Believe me, I would have loved to send her the recording of her son screaming, threatening to smack me, calling me a stubborn bitch, saying he'd divorce me, and even yelling that he'd run the car off the road if I didn't start acting right. I wanted to scream back that her precious son created this mess, and I was simply doing what he wanted. I've come to realize that you don't treat someone you love the way he has treated me. A normal person doesn't pressure someone into sex after they've said no. A normal person doesn't obsessively push someone to eat a food they hate. There is something deeply wrong with that man. He texted me last night, Friday, calling me a bitch for making his mother cry. He also threatened to fine me, saying a locked door wouldn't be enough to keep him from taking me home. I forwarded those messages to the appropriate people. I know this isn't exactly a happy update, but things are moving forward. Update. I've moved. I won't say where, but I found a new home, and my job has allowed me to stay on as a permanent remote employee. I can't share details about my divorce or ongoing legal matters, but I can say that I was granted a protective order due to something that happened back in December. Because of that incident, I was hospitalized for a time. That was the moment I knew I had to get out. I traded my car, had my phone checked for tracking apps or devices, and changed my number. He has no way to contact me, nor can he have anyone reach out on his behalf. Now, I'm several hours, and multiple state lines, away from him and his awful family. I left with only 2 suitcases and a duffel bag, but I can't wait to furnish and decorate my new home exactly the way I want. I'm in therapy and attend a survivor support group every week. I know I'll be okay. For the first time in a long time, I feel like I can finally breathe. Update. Hey there. It's been a while. I actually forgot about this account until I saw screenshots of my posts floating around on Instagram. Funny how that happens. A few key updates. I'm still in therapy, attending both individual counseling and bi-weekly group sessions for DV survivors. I'm definitely not dating. I noticed some comments hoping I'd find a fairy tale romance, but that's the last thing I want or need right now. My focus is on independence and self-love before even thinking about another relationship. It'll probably be years before I'm ready, and that's completely okay. I have discovered a love of cooking and trying new cuisines. I didn't realize how boring my ex's taste was until I escaped him. Slathering mustard on a $2 hot dog does not mean you have superior taste buds. Sorry, I had to get a jab in somehow. Nothing new or dramatic has happened, and that is the way I like it. What matters is, I'm alive, and I'm happy. I didn't realize how little I'd made myself until I was given the space to be. That's all I'm willing to give for my update for now. Peace and love. Update. It seems like I can't escape my own story, haha. This morning, as I was getting ready, my TikTok feed randomly showed a podcast reacting to my posts. Just dropping in to reassure everyone, I'm okay, I'm alive, I'm safe, and most importantly, I'm free. Now that most of the stress and anxiety has settled, I finally feel like I can put my emotions into words. During the abuse and even after I left, I felt so small, like I had to shrink myself, constantly adjusting and accommodating. Looking back, it was awful, but no one really prepares you for the emotional storm that hits after you get away. I felt rage like I never have before. I spent hours screaming and crying into my pillow, hating him, asking myself how he could dare treat me that way. As therapy and my support group have helped rebuild my self-esteem, that anger has only grown. I read Why Does He Do That?, which gave me some insight into his behavior, but it doesn't make me any less furious. He treated other people with basic respect, yet somehow believed I deserved everything he did to me. And that makes me angry. Of course, there was relief, sadness, all of that. I think I slept for days straight after I left. I was in a daze. My therapist reassured me that all of this is normal. I don't want this update to be negative, not in the slightest. So some good news as well. My therapist recommended yoga and Pilates, and it has been great for me. The release of a deep stretch, being in shape, feeling strong, it all has helped me massively. I feel healthy, and yes, I cry when I do hip opening stretches, haha. Also, I made friends. Real friends. I joined a local women's club, part of my neighborhood, and we do various activities bi-monthly. This next week, we'll be doing a little embroidery project. Everyone brings snacks and we just enjoy each other's company. TLDR, I'm alive. I'm angry, but I know that's part of the healing process, and I'm working toward happiness. Also, mustard is officially banned from my life, and I will never again let anyone pressure me into something after I've already said no. Relevant comment. OP clarifies. He didn't serve jail time. Instead, he was ordered to attend mandatory counseling, which was considered a legally acceptable alternative in our state. Trigger warning, sexual assault. He raped me. That was the breaking point that led me to leave and pushed our divorce forward. He admitted he was trying to get me pregnant,